Wonderful. Okay, welcome everybody. As I mentioned before, for those of you that aren't joining us on the recording, my name is Serentia Bruce Roberts. I'm a grants manager at the Access to Justice Foundation, and I'm joined by a fantastic team of speakers today. So you are here joining us as ILTA grantees as part of the Introductory ILTA event. And today we're hoping to formally introduce you to ILTA, and to one another, and also to us at the Access to Justice Foundation. We'd like to introduce you to us as a funder, set the scene on our ILTA approach. And we'll be aiming to cover items such as the monitoring, evaluation, and learning, which may be referred throughout as MEL as well, the Funder Plus program, and the EDI approach. So I'll be covering the MEL. Shabana will be covering the elements in relation to the Access to Justice Foundation as well as the Funder Plus program. And we have Jessica with us who will be going through our EDI approach. So that's everything. But please, again, feel free to stick any questions in the chat. And that's all from me. I'll hand over to you, Shabana.
Thanks, Tia. Yeah, hello everyone. It is really exciting and great to see you all here today for our first kind of event, where we've finally kind of kicked off the ILTA program. And I'm aware that some of you may be familiar with the Access to Justice Foundation. So my name's Shabana, I'm the Grants Director. But there are also some of you who may not. So I just wanted to do a little bit of an intro. And as Tia said, if you've got any questions, please just put them in the chat. So we're an organisation that aims to increase access to justice, and we are a UK-wide funder. So we award grants which increase access to the provision of free legal advice. So for this programme, the Improving Lives Through Advice programme, we've funded all of you and your organisations based in England. And this was made possible by the National Lottery Community Fund. So with many thanks to National Lottery players. So at the Access to Justice Foundation, we champion the role of the law as a tool for social justice and recognise, that access to legal advice can support so many people that are suffering from poverty, debt, unemployment, discrimination. And we also recognise that those most in need of support can often face significant barriers to accessing services. We are a fundraising organisation, so we don't have an endowment. We work to demonstrate the impact of specialist legal advice in transforming lives and empowering communities. And we are aiming to share learning and evidence to influence funder practice, raise awareness of issues, and increase investment in legal advice provision. So at the foundation, we run events, we commission research, we work with the legal community, and we'll be in contact with you in the coming weeks to share information. So there's a number of events that we hold that you may be interested in attending. Over the years, we've collated evidence and learning from frontline organisations, and we've listened and worked with many legal advice charities, and many of you are here today. And we recognise the value of multi-year core funding and the difference that this can make to support organisations working with communities to address barriers and increase access to legal advice. We understand that there are issues with recruiting and retaining experienced staff, and that organisations have been firefighting for a very long time. We know and we hear that there are increasing levels of demand for services and support, and we recognise that there are some groups and communities of people who face marginalisation, who are in situations of poverty that has been exacerbated by the current kind of socio-economic situation that we're in. So we've funded all of you that are here today because of the great work that you are doing to address the barriers, and because of the vision that you've shared with us about what this funding will enable you to achieve and how it will help support those most in need. We wanted to work with a diverse portfolio of organisations that are utilising a variety of approaches in their ways of working with diverse groups and communities, and who are actively engaging and involving communities in shaping services. We understand that organisations working with those who have lived experience or who are led by and for communities they serve often have valuable insight into the challenges being experienced and how they might be overcome. So our ambition is to collate an evidence base which demonstrates the impact of legal advice in transforming lives and empowering communities, and which clearly evidences how multi-year core funding enables organisations to build infrastructure, form partnerships, fundraise, and meet the needs of communities so that we can make the case for future investment in this work. So what we want to do is we want to be able to share this learning more broadly to influence and inform other funders. And that's why we want to fund organisations that are collaborative and willing to engage in this programme over the 5-year period. So at the Access to Justice Foundation, we'll be using the valuable insight we gather to make the case for the importance of the law in addressing social justice issues. And we will also be sharing what we learn with all of you. So we want to, first off, encourage open and honest dialogue with organisations so that we can understand what works and what doesn't when engaging with and working with those that are most in need. And so we can begin to understand the different kinds of interventions and approaches that you're utilising. We're aware that these may vary depending on where you're based, your location, maybe the particular group you're engaging. And we want to understand how organisations take this learning and make changes or adapt as needed. We hope to provide opportunities for peer learning, for capacity building and leadership development through events, and also our Funder Plus programme. And I'll be talking a little bit about that later. We'll be sending out a survey after this event to all of our grantees to help us to understand more about your work, your services, and your current approaches to monitoring, evaluation, and learning. And we recognise that you may all be at quite different points on this journey, and that's okay. We're still actually designing what that learning approach will look like, how we'll form and shape the events, and also the Funder Plus programme. And we want to do that in consultation with you. So there are opportunities for peer learning, for sharing of best practice, and for development. So in the survey, we'd like to ask some questions to help us form a bit of a baseline at the start of this journey. And we ask you to please complete this being as honest as possible. This is to help us to develop the approaches and recognise what you're already doing and maybe what you're already capturing for other funders, any areas for development, and also to find out a little bit more about how you're working with communities. We're really keen that we work on the basis of trust. We recognise that with core funding, organisations can better plan, develop responsive services, retain staff, and develop long-lasting links with communities. And we would like to understand this journey over the 5-year grant period. We appreciate that these things take time, and we understand that things don't always go to plan. So I just wanted to really make sure and voice that really. So as a funder, we've got a grants team, as Tia mentioned, who are here today on the call, and they can answer any questions that you may have at any point on this 5-year journey. And as Tia said, we've got the email grants@atjf.org.uk. So please do reach out if you've got any questions. We will also be making contact to begin sharing information in a few months, and Tia will go into the detail around the monitoring, evaluation, and learning based on the survey responses. And the aims are to capture information that we can use to help us make the case for the importance of legal advice. We're also on an equity, diversity, and inclusion journey as a funder. And we are taking some steps to ensure we take an equity-led approach to the ILTA programme. And many of you will be aware, this involves funding organisations that are led by and for the communities they serve. We recognise that organisations that are embedded within and made up of communities are often trusted spaces who are supporting people to access services, understand their rights, providing advocacy, and playing a vital role in increasing access to services. So we are funding organisations that are offering specialist legal advice, and also those who may not be delivering legal advice services but are working in partnership with advice providers to increase access and offer a range of other holistic services. We're working with an equity learning partner, as Tia said, Jessica Romo, to ensure that we are considering our EDI approach in our funding. And Jess will be planning some events which enable organisations to have spaces to reflect on and understand where you may be on your EDI journey. So I'll stop there because that's been quite a lot of talking from me. But please do pop any questions in the chat. It's really, really exciting and wonderful to meet you all. And I'll hand back over to Tia for more information on the monitoring, evaluation and learning.
Thanks so much, Shabana. Okay, so as Shabana highlighted, we're on a journey when we talk about ILTA, and that just is inclusive of the monitoring, evaluation, and learning. So some of you have already been in touch asking about the framework, but we're hoping to create that with you. In fact, the creation of the framework is being led by Naveed Samani, independent evaluator for ILTA, and he's on this call today. But the plan is, in terms of creating the monitoring, evaluation and learning framework, is to have an iterative approach, and we'll be building on what you as organizations are already capturing. We'd like to design a framework that captures what we need, obviously, to make the case for further investment, which Shabana outlined. And that's really, really important. But also in terms of what we'll be capturing, we'll be hoping to capture data as well as stories and case studies, hopefully to capture their beneficiary journey. But as Siobhan outlined, this is a learning approach. So we're making a lot of space to do this alongside you and hear from you where you are and kind of meet you where you are. Finally, in terms of what we'll be hoping to capture, we'll be also getting expenditures from each year and then a new budget for each year. So I will be reaching out to you. Obviously, in your grant agreements at the moment, we have your budgets for the first year. So we'll be checking the expenditure at the end of the year and then asking for new year budgets over the next 4 years, because we appreciate, with this being the 5-year program, that things are likely to change, and that's okay. As has already been highlighted, we want you to be honest with us. We want to know what works and what doesn't work. And in creating the MEL framework, we hope to capture this. We understand that each of you may be at different stages of your monitoring, evaluation, and learning journey, and we appreciate that. So, as explained, we'll be coming to you to capture where you are, and we'll be learning from that and sort of building from that in the framework. So in terms of updates on our plans and timelines, as Shabana outlined already, we'll be looking to capture baselines in an introductory survey, which will be sent to you today. And I'll cover this more in the next steps, but the survey will be sent to the primary contacts, so please look out for them. If you're on the call and you're not the primary contact, then please do feel free to forward that on. We'll be looking to finalise the basic framework and plan to roll it out, reaching you around September, with data collection in the last quarter. But again, as this is an iterative approach, these things may change, but we'll make sure to keep you updated and make sure to communicate everything with you. We're very aware, as you said, as Shabana mentioned, that you may all be in different points of your journey. And this first iteration may just be that we're just asking for what's already collected, and it might not be complete, and that's okay. We'll be able to work with you on this. And as always, if there's anything you're unsure about, any questions that you feel aren't being answered, please do come to us for any guidance. And that's everything. I'm not sure if anybody has any questions in relation to the monitoring, evaluation, or learning, but I'm happy to take them. Shabana can take them if you have any. Otherwise, I don't think we have any questions. Please feel free to pop them in the chat though if you do. Naveed, would you like to come and join us?
Yeah, that's fine. Obviously, I don't have a question because that would be quite odd given that I'm leading on this area. Yeah, I just wanted to say hello and just really reiterate what Tia said around this being a learning focused program. So that piece of, in terms of like sharing your kind of candid, transparent feedback, even when things aren't working, is super important for us to understand how this intervention does or doesn't work. Because that's really what we want to try and demonstrate to the sector is how to do this, the context in which to do this, because all of you are working in quite different contexts. So that understanding of how the program works, depending on the context, is going to be really vital to us actually saying something useful for the sector. And then in terms of just the survey that's going around, um, uh, I think, sorry, Jess has just sent me a direct message. In terms of the survey that's going around, it definitely serves as a baseline to a certain extent, particularly in terms of understanding where you're at. And one of the objectives we've got is improving how we actually do measurement. But there will be certain things that aren't in the survey that will come to you individually on, because the survey is not going to be able to capture absolutely everything in terms of baseline. So there'll probably be additional conversations, depending on what you do. I'm not going to give you a full profile of my background, but if you do want to know more about me, my website is rliconsulting.co.uk. And yeah, obviously, I'm sure we'll speak as this program goes on.
Thanks so much, Naveed. Oh, I think my internet is struggling right now. 1 second. Let me take you off the spotlight. Thank you so much, Naveed. That's really, really helpful. And in terms of engaging with reaching out to you individually, one of the grants team members will be reaching out. So you can look forward to hearing from us on that. Kirsty, thank you so much for your feedback. I'm pleased that it's clear to you. I have Carrie with her hand up. Let me, 1 second, let me bring you in.
Hiya.
Right there.
So I just really wanted some further clarity because we've been working with a local authority for this project previously, and they were so prescriptive on outcomes that we didn't want to be making sure that we weren't missing something, because it sounds great that we can kind of use our existing measures and then work with you to develop new, but just wanted to double, triple check for the team so that we don't then end up missing something, because it just seems sometimes too good to be true.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. No, there isn't, as I was hoping to explain, is that there isn't anything that's been created yet. So we're hoping to kind of co-create with you, Naveed, hopefully put your mind to rest that his idea is that we will be coming to you. We have this baseline survey that we're going to be sending out today, which should take about 15 to 20 minutes to complete. That will give some sort of baseline, but we will probably be coming out to you, especially because you're all doing very different things, to kind of meet you where you are. Shabana, is there anything else that you wanted to kind of come in on this?
No, I think you've covered it, and Naveed as well. So I think, getting that survey in and then kind of drafting and pulling together a framework and thinking about how we can capture such rich insight from such a broad range of organisations, I think is really important, and we'll be coming back to you to share. And we'll look at different ways. So in the past, things that we've done is just to kind of reassure you is bringing organisations back together, providing guidance, getting feedback on the approach, and we aim to do that through this programme. Naveed, I don't know if that's a new hand or a previous hand. Just wanted to check.
Yeah, it is a new hand. I think yeah, you should be reassured that we're not going to come in like maybe other donors who have a less kind of close relationship with their kind of standard reports and templates and expect you to like complete returns on hundreds of different indicators. I guess the only thing I might say, though, as a caveat to that, there will obviously be like a core set of things that we need to understand, partly because obviously Access to Justice have their own relationship, right, with the lottery, and we'll need to make sure that they're informing them on what's happening and not happening, but also just so then we don't get so far into the program and have missed the opportunity to collect things that we need to understand at the beginning. But as Tia and Shabana have both said, we're going to try and meet you where you're at. So obviously we'll present to you like what we think we need, but then try and understand, okay, what's the best way in which to get that information? Some of it, as you say, will be things you're collecting already. If you're not collecting them already, then obviously we'll work with you. And that includes providing maybe training and guidance on how to kind of get to that level of data collection. So yes, so all of this is being formed, but hopefully that provides some reassurance.
Thanks so much, Naveed. Okay, I have one final question from Toril, who has asked if there's a possibility we can share a list of grantees and contacts. We do hope that as part of ILTA that we do allow for space for you all to learn from one another. And if that's helpful, that could be something we look into. So thank you so much for the suggestion. Okay, great. I think that's all the questions. Thank you so much, everybody, for contributing. That's really, really helpful to kind of hear the concerns that you have and the feedback you have. So that's really, really helpful. And we'll take that all on board. On to the next part, we'll be looking at the Funder Plus program. So I will hand over back to Shabana for this.
Thanks, Tia. So yes, we have apologies today from Matt Howgate of the LAPG Management and Leadership Hub, who will be running the Funder Plus program for ILTA. Some of you, I think, will be very familiar with Matt and with the LAPG Hub. Some of you won't. But the Funder Plus program is going to be established for all of the grantees to access a range of resources and training that will support development within your organisation. The survey that we're sending out will have a few questions, so we can begin to understand any capacity building or learning and development needs that you may have. And Matt Howgate, along with Tina Perrier and a series of other sector experts, will then be in touch and will be sharing information with you in starting from July, actually, I think I've been advised. So over the next few months, we'll be sending out information. But I just wanted, for those of you that are not familiar with the Funder Plus program, just to let you know that this will include access to management and leadership training. There'll be other training available, access to curated resources, events, and we're hoping some symposia and peer-to-peer learning spaces. So I know that Matt is very much interested in co-designing the program with grantees and with organisations, and we'll begin the process of meeting with organisations from July onwards. So there will be we'll be making contact with you over the coming months, and hopefully you'll have an opportunity to meet Matt and Tina very soon. Thanks, Tia.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. That's really helpful. If you have any questions in relation to the Funder Plus program, then please do put any questions in the chat. We'll be looking to share more information on that, as Shabana outlined as well. Okay. Oh, one question coming in. So we have a question from Gemma. Question regarding the budget and expenditure reporting. The application, it was an indicative budget for year one, but the grant is co-funded. Do we need to gain permission if we want to allocate the grant for difficulties outlined in the application? Yes, I think it will be in your grant agreements as well. If you see something that's significant, that would be a significant change to what you've suggested as part of your budget, then please do get in touch. Any major changes as that forms part of the delivery of your grant program, please do get in touch with us and give us as much notice as possible so that we can kind of advise on that. And that's the same in relation to your budget as well. So if you're looking to make a very significant change to your budget, then please do get in touch with us. Hopefully that answers your question, Gemma.
So just going to come in here as well. We appreciate that it's core funding, and so that things may change over the course of the year in how you want to use the funding to respond to that need, and that's okay. And we'll be coming back to you obviously to find out how you've then used the funding. So I just wanted to also also caveat that, and also just to encourage communication in advance with us. So if there are any changes, and we're very much seeing a lot of that at the moment, where organisations may be undergoing changes within their organisation, or maybe partnering with other organisations, please do let us know of any kind of significant changes in advance. It's just really helpful to us to kind of keep on top of that, and we just want to encourage you to reach out if you've got any questions in relation to that. Thank you.
Thanks, Shabana. Okay, I don't think we have any questions in relation to Funder Plus, so I will hand over to Jess to introduce herself and tell us a little bit more about the EDI approach for ILTA.
Lovely, thank you. So let me share my screen. Can you see that?
Yeah, all good. Thanks, Jess.
Lovely. Okay. So my name is long. I'm originally from Mexico. My name is Julia Jessica Romo Ramos. I have been in the UK since 2007, and have been a British national since 2011. So it's been a while. And I am the founding director and principal consultant at Nexus Evaluation, which is a minority-led consultancy company committed to maximizing our customers' social and environmental impact with systemic, culturally sensitive, and equitable approaches. And by working in the nexus between strategy, organizational change, and evaluation and learning. And I am delighted to be the equity learning partner for this program. Now, why did we even get into equity, diversity, and inclusiveness? Like the Access for Justice Foundation, we work in the EDI space because we strongly believe that meaningful EDI practice is about ensuring that services are fair and accessible to everyone, disregarding their abilities, background, or lifestyle. And obviously we have a focus on those who are most vulnerable, marginalized, and often discriminated against. But we also believe that EDI is about creating organizational cultures and developing leaders that appreciate and celebrate differences and create spaces where minority individuals feel safe, a sense of belonging, and are supported to succeed. With that in mind, generally our approach to EDI is really to frame it as a long-term journey. And we would love to support you and your organizations on this journey by creating a safe, confidential space to reflect and learn. Funders will not be invited to these sessions, and tailoring our support is based on collective needs, and I'll get to how we do that together in a minute. What we are keen to avoid is to push in a particular way or creating any sense of competition between you. We're also not here to seek perfection or being portrayed as having the right answers. In my experience, there isn't a single organization that has got it all right or that has perfect practice. Those doing great work in the space remain reflective, adaptive, and open to feedback and committed to continuous learning. So we would love to create an action inquiry process that supports change across you as an individual, within your organizations, and for the wider sector as a cohort, with a tailored program that is a mix of self-reflection and learning, peer reflection, support, and learning. And this is why I'm really encouraged by some of your comments, already trying to learn from each other and start to connect with each other. And also we'll have expert-led learning. So guest speakers will be invited on things that, again, we hear you are interested in. But to do that, we really need to hear from you and what you need. So this is a great opportunity to invite you to the October lunch event, where we really are going to have time to go through some of the kind of key stages of what an EDI journey looks like, and where you think you and your organization might be, and some specific questions that you might have. Now, these will help me understand where, as a cohort, you are and where we might start to tailor the following sessions. These might be quarterly sessions of around an hour and a half online in a Zoom space like this. And yeah, all we need is your time. And yeah, I think if you attend and senior leadership support is there, you're setting the right tone, and kind of the space for you to take advantage of hopefully what we can offer and support you with. And yeah, if you want to reach out to me, here are my details and the company details. So yeah, very excited.
Thanks so much, Jess. That was really, really great. Also, yeah, we're really excited to be on this journey with you as well. Does anybody have any questions for Jess in relation to the EDI journey we'll be going on? Otherwise, I think we have a question in the chat again relating to core funding. Oh, thank you so much, Shabana. So Shabana just mentioned that the funding is restricted in the sense that it should be used to further the aims of the ILTA program. So hopefully that answers the question. Wonderful. Okay, well, if we don't have any questions for Jess, I will remove the spotlight, Jess. And I will move on to, we've really whizzed through today. So hopefully since we don't have any questions in the chat, hopefully we've answered all the questions that you had ahead of this session today. Savita, the October launch event that Jessica was talking about, we'll be in touch with you in relation to that, and we'll be looking to reach out on those. So once the dates are finalized, one of the grants team members will be reaching out. So there is nothing in terms of an official date for the October event that Jessica just mentioned then. Okay, so just to wrap up, I guess, we have the introductory survey that will be sent out later today to you. That will be going to the inbox of the primary contact. If you are not the primary contact on this call, then please do feel free to forward this on to that person or get in touch with us if you're unsure who that is. As I just mentioned, we'll be in touch in relation to events over the next coming months. So the one-to-ones for Funder Plus that will begin from July, and then also the EDI launch event that Jess just mentioned there in October. So we'll be reaching out and coordinating those. So you'll be hearing from one of the members of the grants team for that. Also, just to say as well that we will be hosting an event on the 25th of September. The Access to Justice Foundation will be hosting a celebratory ILTA event, which will be attended by funders, and a celebration of our approach into ILTA. We'll be looking to showcase some of the organisations that we have funded. So I'll also be reaching out in relation to this as a request for any speakers. This isn't part of the ILTA programme, so you're not obligated to attend, but if you are available and would like to attend or would like to speak at the event, then I'll be reaching out and seeing if you would like to attend. One final thing in relation to the event today, this recording and Jessica's PowerPoint will be emailed out to you hopefully sometime this week, for those of you who might want to watch back, and for those that were not able to attend today. As always, if you have any questions that you feel that weren't answered, or if you have a question that's very specific to your organisation, then please feel free to email us at grants@atgf.org.uk. Just going back and looking at any final questions. So just another question from Toril Shars. They've got many colleagues working on the programme. It'd be great to get as much advance notice to ensure colleagues can make relevant events and also be able to participate in surveys and learning. Of course, we'll definitely make sure to lock any future dates in and get in touch with plenty of time. Hopefully you will have got bit of a gist of kind of like when we'll be coming to you on certain things, but we'll look to finalize those, and also anything important will be coming to you via email as well, so you have all that information in one place. Wendy, your CEO is going to be away, so you'd like the survey, that's fine. Alex, can you make a note of that so that the email to Local Life goes to Wendy? That's not a problem at all. Oh, you've already commented as well. Thank you so much, Alex. The celebration event in September will be in the 25th of September, but I will be emailing with more details on that soon as well. So don't worry if you don't remember that date. Oh, Russell, fantastic question. You will have all been emailed in relation to the sensitivity around announcing grant awards around the election. We'll be sending further information on that as well, because as you will, some of you will know that we're giving grants in the round 2 stage of ILTA, weren't able to say on social media that you received the grant. So we'll be looking to share communications after the election period, and we'll be sending an email out to encourage you to do the same. So please look out for that email as well. Hopefully that's answered your question, Russell. Thank you, Karen. That's really, really helpful. Glad that you found the session useful. Sorry. Kate, you were actually looking to find out when the event will be. So the location of the event in September on the 25th will be in London. It'll be an in-person event. And obviously we understand that you're funded from all around England, so no obligation to attend. I'll be reaching out if any of you would like to attend, and appreciate that you may not all be able to due to where you're based. Thank you, Shabana, for highlighting that as well. Okay, great. If there are any other questions, then please do feel free to put them in the chat and I'll try and answer them. Otherwise, I will encourage you all to email your questions through at grants@hdf.org.uk. A huge thank you to you all for your time today, and a big thank you to the speakers today. We hope you've been giving you some fantastic an opportunity to hear more about our approach for ILTA and what we're hoping to do in the next coming months in terms of engagement. Oh, the chat has gone crazy, so I'm not really sure if there are any questions in there. Okay, wonderful. Thank you all so much. Hope to speak to you all soon. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.